June is usually the month of sunshine, vacations, and graduation caps flying through the air. But hidden beneath the warmth of summer are events so bizarre, scandalous, or downright unbelievable, they'll make you question how they ever made it into the history books, if at all. From popes on trial to cities disappearing in seconds, here are 10 jaw-dropping WTF moments that happened in the seemingly innocent month of June. Number 1. The day the US invaded Canada, June 1, 1921. It sounds like satire, but it's all too real. On June 1, 1921, the US military carried out a secret wargame simulating a full-scale invasion of Canada. Known as War Plan Red, it was developed in the 1920s as a contingency for conflict with the British Empire. The plan wasn't theoretical, it included specific targets like Quebec City, Ottawa, and Halifax, which was to be bombed to disrupt British reinforcements. As part of the drill, troops from Fort Drum and other northeastern bases engaged in mock offensives that eerily mirrored real-world tactics. Military officers openly discussed how to seize Ontario's railways and disrupt supply chains. Some participants even crossed into Canadian territory by mistake, alarming local authorities. The entire plan was declassified in the 1970s, revealing just how detailed and serious it was. The US Navy would blockade British shipping routes, while American forces would march through Niagara Falls and capture Montreal within days. Although War Plan Red was never enacted, it remained active for years, updated even into the 1930s. Was this a harmless drill, or did the US really see its peaceful neighbor as a battlefield in waiting? Number 2. The town that exploded from underneath, June 5, 1941. On the afternoon of June 5, 1941, the quiet riverside town of Smederevo, Yugoslavia, was obliterated in a blast so powerful that it defied comprehension. At precisely 2:10 p.m., a train loaded with over 5,000 tons of German ammunition exploded in the heart of the town's railway yard. The blast flattened homes, businesses, and historic buildings, killing an estimated 2,000 people instantly and injuring thousands more. The medieval Smederevo fortress and the royal Karađorđević residence were turned to rubble in seconds. The explosion was heard over 30 kilometers away, and the shockwave shattered windows in Belgrade, nearly 50 kilometers distant. Survivors recalled a deafening roar, a rising black mushroom cloud, and debris raining from the sky. Entire families were vaporized. The cause remains an enigma. Some claim it was sabotage by Yugoslav partisans, others whisper of a Gestapo false flag operation gone wrong. Still others blame pure negligence. Ammunition had been left cooking in the sun for hours. No definitive investigation ever followed. The Nazis quickly blamed resistance fighters and executed dozens in retaliation. But the truth behind the explosion, and why so much weaponry was concentrated in a civilian center, remains a haunting mystery. Was it sabotage, incompetence, or something the Nazis wanted erased from history? Number 3. The Pope who put a corpse on trial, June 8, 97. Okay, technically it began in January, but the consequences played out deep into June. After Pope Formosus died, his rival, Pope Stephen VI, had his decomposing corpse dug up, dressed in papal robes, and put on trial in the infamous Cadaver Synod. His rotting body was propped up on a throne while a deacon answered questions on his behalf. Stephen VI found him guilty, stripped the corpse of its sacred vestments, and threw it into the Tiber River. But June brought revenge. Outraged Roman citizens rose up and imprisoned Stephen, who was later strangled in his cell. So, what kind of sins could possibly justify a posthumous trial by puppet court? Number 4. When Stalin literally erased his enemies, June 1934. June marked the final purge of Sergei Kirov's legacy, Stalin's popular rival. Kirov had been assassinated in December 1934, but by the following June, his image was vanishing from official Soviet photos. Entire propaganda posters were republished without him. This act of visual censorship was part of Stalin's twisted campaign to rewrite history. His enemies weren't just killed, they were erased from memory. Photographs, paintings, even schoolbooks were altered. In one notorious case, a group photo of Soviet leaders taken in 1934 re-emerged in June 1935, with Kirov missing and Stalin slightly closer to the center. Number 5. The Nazi who escaped justice, via the Vatican, June 10, 1947. After World War II, Nazi war criminal Alois Hudel, an Austrian bishop, ran an underground network smuggling Nazis out of Europe through Ratlins. On June 10, 1947, he successfully spirited Franz Stangl, commandant of the Sobibor and Treblinka death camps, into Rome's religious safe houses. Using forged Red Cross documents, Stangl made his way to Syria and later Brazil, where he lived freely until captured in 1967. Hudel died in Rome, never punished. This June moment was just one example of how deeply religious and political networks were entangled with fleeing fascists. Number 6. The school that accidentally gassed 300 kids, June 7, 1924. In New London, Texas, a school built on top of a natural gas pocket was using unvented gas lines to power its heating. In early June 1924, during summer classes, a spark from a shop class ignited a massive explosion. Over 300 children and teachers died instantly. The blast was so powerful that a steel beam was found 3 miles away. Investigators later found the school had been warned but ignored safety regulations to cut costs. This event led to the invention of odorized natural gas to prevent future tragedies. Number 7. The time France blew up a Greenpeace ship, June 10, 1985. Greenpeace's ship Rainbow Warrior was bombed in Auckland, New Zealand, by French intelligence agents trying to stop protests against nuclear tests in the Pacific. The blast killed photographer Fernando Pereira. French agents posed as tourists and planted limpet mines on the hull. The scandal blew up when 2 agents were caught and France was forced to admit responsibility. The French defense minister resigned. Yet France only served a slap-on-the-wrist punishment, and years later, one of the agents was promoted. Number 8. The CIA's mind control dungeons, June 1953. In June 1953, the CIA officially launched Project MKUltra, a secret mind control program using LSD, sensory deprivation, and electroshock on unwitting subjects. One of the first experiments was conducted in Montreal and included patients at psychiatric hospitals without their consent. Victims were dosed, tortured, and broken in the name of Cold War research. Many never recovered. Files were later destroyed under CIA orders in 1973, but enough leaked to spark congressional hearings decades later. Number 9. The fire that burned the White House, June 1813. No, not 1814, the lesser-known White House fire occurred in June 1813, when a random blaze gutted a wing of the still under-construction presidential mansion. Though not started by enemy hands, the fire exposed how unprepared the federal government was to protect its symbols. The roof collapsed, and it took months to rebuild. Strangely, officials blamed faulty chimney design, but some documents hint that sabotage by British sympathizers might have been the true cause. Number 10. The monkey who was tried for smoking, June 17, 1926. In the summer of 1926, a bizarre trial unfolded in South Bend, Indiana, when a local circus monkey named Jenny was arrested, for the crime of smoking a cigarette in public. At the time, city laws prohibited public acts of indecency, and smoking by animals, especially as a trained act, was suddenly deemed offensive by local officials. A police officer witnessed Jenny lighting up and demanded she be taken into custody. The monkey was briefly jailed, and the circus owner, enraged, demanded a trial. In court on June 17, Jenny was reportedly dressed in a bonnet and overalls as evidence of her civil indecency. The trial became a media circus, with national headlines mocking the town. Eventually, the judge ruled that no law specifically addressed simian tobacco use, and Jenny was released with a formal warning, seriously. The city's mayor later admitted the whole thing was a misguided publicity stunt, but by then, South Bend had become the laughingstock of the country. Jenny went on to become a minor celebrity and performed in sold-out shows across the Midwest.